felt like an eternity. As a software engineer in Silicon Valley, his job often took him on international trips. This time, it was a 2-week conference in Tokyo, but a cancellation allowed him to catch an early flight back to New York City. He hadn't told anyone, not his new wife, Elena, nor his colleagues. He wanted to surprise her and the kids. The triplets, Liam, Noah, and Sophia, were the light of his life. At 2 years old, they were a handful, but James adored them. They were from his previous marriage, which ended when his first wife, Clara, passed away during childbirth. Elena had come into his life like a whirlwind romance, and they'd married quickly, 6 months ago, at City Hall. As the taxi pulled up to their Brooklyn brownstone, rain poured down, turning the streets into rivers. James paid the driver and dashed up the steps, his suitcase bumping behind him. He fumbled with his keys, excited. "Honey, I'm home," he called out as he pushed the door open, but the house was silent. No lights were on, and the air felt cold. James called out for Elena and the kids. His voice echoed through the empty hallway. Panic crept in as he flipped on the lights and searched room by room. The nursery was empty, toys scattered in haste. In the kitchen, a half-eaten meal sat on the table, cold and forgotten. Then he heard a faint cry from outside. Heart pounding, James rushed to the back door leading to the yard. There, in the pouring rain, were Liam, Noah, and Sophia, huddled in their stroller, soaked, their faces red from crying. The stroller was uncovered, pushed against the fence as if discarded. "Oh God, no!" James scooped them up, wrapping them in his coat. They shivered, drenched. "I'm here. It's okay." But it wasn't. Where was Elena? After bundling Liam, Noah, and Sophia into dry clothes and warming them with blankets and hot cocoa, James called the police. The officers arrived quickly, their faces grim as they took his statement. "Sir, do you have any idea where your wife might be?" one asked. James shook his head, in shock. "We had a fight before I left about money, mostly. She said she felt overwhelmed with the kids. But I never thought." His voice trailed off. He checked his phone, no messages from Elena. Her social media was silent, and her closet was half empty. Clothes, jewelry, even her passport, gone. As the police searched the house, James found a note on the bedside table, crumpled as if Elena had second-guessed leaving it. It read, "I can't do this anymore. The kids aren't mine, and this life isn't what I signed up for. I'm sorry. Don't look for me." Liam, Noah, and Sophia, now safe but traumatized, clung to him. Liam whimpered softly, Noah stared blankly, and Sophia reached out with tiny hands. James's mind raced. How long had they been out there? The rain had started hours ago. If he hadn't come home early, the police promised to investigate, but James knew he couldn't wait. He called his sister, Sarah, who lived in Queens. "I need you here now," he said, his voice breaking. Sarah arrived within the hour, helping with the kids while James pieced together clues. Elena's bank app showed recent withdrawals, large sums transferred to an offshore account. And her phone's last location? JFK Airport. The next morning, with Liam, Noah, and Sophia under Sarah's care, James met with Marcus Reed. She's fled the country, probably, Marcus said, reviewing the evidence. But we'll track her. In the meantime, focus on those kids. James nodded, but his anger simmered. How could she abandon them like that? In the rain, no less, like they were trash. He spent the day at home, playing with Liam, Noah, and Sophia to reassure them. They seemed okay physically, but emotionally, Sophia had a slight fever, and all three woke up crying in the night. Digging deeper, James discovered Elena's secrets. She'd been chatting online with her ex-boyfriend, planning this escape for months. Screenshots from her laptop revealed complaints about the brats and dreams of a child-free life. It stung. James had thought she loved them. With Marcus's help, they traced Elena to London. She'd boarded a flight the night before, using a ticket bought with their joint savings. James felt betrayed, but resolve hardened him. He wouldn't let her get away with this. Not just the abandonment, but the endangerment. Child Services got involved, praising James for his quick action but warning of a custody review. James couldn't sit idle. Leaving Liam, Noah, and Sophia with Sarah and a trusted nanny, he flew to London. The city was a blur of grey skies and bustling streets, a far cry from the warmth he once associated with Elena. Marcus had connections with UK authorities, and soon, Interpol was alerted. At a small hotel in Kensington, they found Elena. She was with her ex-boyfriend, laughing over coffee when the police knocked. Her face paled as she saw James through the window. "You weren't supposed to come back early," she stammered during the interrogation. The story unraveled. Overwhelmed by step-parenting, Elena had snapped. Planned to leave quietly but panicked when the rain started. "I thought you'd be home soon," she claimed, but the note said otherwise. James confronted Elena privately. "They could have died out there. My children, our children." Tears streamed down her face, but his heart was stone. "I loved you, but this, unforgivable." Back in New York, Elena faced charges: child endangerment, abandonment, theft. She pleaded guilty, avoiding a trial, and was sentenced to community service and therapy, with no custody rights. James filed for divorce immediately. Liam, Noah, and Sophia thrived under James's full attention. He quit his high-travel job for a remote position, turning the brownstone into a haven of love. Sarah moved closer, becoming the aunt they needed. Playdates, therapy sessions, and family outings mended the wounds. One rainy evening, months later, James watched Liam, Noah, and Sophia play inside, safe and dry. He'd come home unannounced once and found horror, but now, every day was a surprise of joy. He vowed never to let anyone hurt them again. And in their laughter, he found his strength.